The photo I found out my husband was cheating on me because of the fruit. It was a slice of mango, bright as a traffic light, resting on the edge of a tall glass. Behind it, the ocean in the picture was a color we don't get in Harborview. Our ocean is gray and hard like metal. This one was turquoise and soft, like someone had smoothed the water with their hand. The photo sat at the top of my Instagram feed when I woke up. The caption said, "Healing in Paradise, yellow heart. You ever feel like you finally chose yourself?" The username was at Mia on the mic. I knew that name. She worked for us. Mia, the social media assistant Daniel had insisted we hire. "We need fresh eyes," he'd said. "We're stuck in the Stone Age, Liv." I should have scrolled past, but there was something wrong with the picture. At first I thought it was the mango. I don't even like mango. Then I saw I in the corner of the photo, half cut off by the frame, was a man's arm. Thin, strong, a familiar freckle near the elbow. The kind of tiny mark you learn by accident, from years of brushing past someone in a hallway. My heart stopped moving. I zoomed in. The arm wore a woven bracelet. Dark blue thread, a silver bead. The bracelet I had given Daniel on our 5th wedding anniversary. For a few seconds the world went quiet, like someone had pressed a pillow over my ears. The only sound was the dull thud of my heartbeat. Then everything came back at once. The ticking of the old clock on the wall, the ocean outside my bedroom window, the faint hum of the fridge. I checked the time on my phone. 7:12 a.m. Daniel was on a business trip in LA. He had left 3 days ago with a quick kiss and a suitcase I didn't bother to open. The post was from 30 minutes ago. The hotel tag read, Blue Horizon Resort, Cabo San Lucas. Cabo. Not my thumb hovered over his name in my messages. I wanted to call him and scream. I wanted to text Mia and say, "You tagged my husband's arm in your vacation selfie." I wanted to break the phone in half and throw it into the ocean outside the house. Instead, I put the phone down next to my pillow and stared at the ceiling and the white paint above my head. I saw other things. My father's face, red with anger the last time we argued. The pen in his hand as he signed half the business over to Daniel. The way his chest seized an hour later. The way I kept telling myself it wasn't my fault, and never fully believed it. I closed my eyes and pictured the mango again. Daniel's arm. The blue water. He was somewhere warm and bright with her. I was here in the small house above the cliff, listening to the ocean hit the rocks like it was trying to erase something. I got up, showered, dressed in black jeans and a gray sweater, then went to work. Harbor Line Press waited as always. The bell above the front door chimed as I pushed it open. The smell hit me first. Warm paper, ink, dust, and the faint burn smell from the big press in the back, which always ran a little too hot. It smelled like my childhood. Like watching my father stand over the press, his hands stained with ink, explaining things I didn't understand yet. "Morning, Liv," Grace called from behind the counter. Her hair was pulled into a messy bun, flecked with little dots of cyan ink. "Morning," I said, forcing my voice steady. "You okay?" she asked, squinting at me. "You look, I don't know, pale."
I'm fine, Elid.
"Just didn't sleep well." Grace watched me for a second longer but didn't push. That was one of the things I loved about her. She didn't pry, but she didn't forget either. "Press 3 is complaining again," she said instead. "Keeps jamming on heavy stock. And Ethan's got questions about the Miller campaign proofs." "Okay," I said. "I'll talk to him." I walked through the front office, past the framed posters my father hung on the wall. Old Town Fair posters, charity race banners, the first restaurant menu we ever printed. Each frame carried a date, a memory, a part of him. My phone buzzed in my pocket. I tried to ignore it. I couldn't. It was a text from Daniel. "Morning, Liv. Meetings all day. Might go late. How's my favorite boss?" I stared at the words. My favorite boss. My fingers moved on their own. "What hotel are you at?" The typing dots appeared. Vanished. Appeared again. "Marriott downtown." "Why? You miss me?" Winking face. My throat tightened. I almost responded. "Mia posted a photo. I saw your bracelet." Instead I typed, "Just checking for the receipts." "Good luck with the meeting. You're the best," he replied. "Love you." I swallowed hard. From the back of the shop, the presses started up, filling the air with a low, continuous roar. Paper fed through rollers. Ink snapped and hissed. For a moment I thought about telling Grace. About saying, "My husband is in Cabo with our employee." The words stuck in my mouth, heavy as wet cement. Instead, I walked into the design room. Ethan sat hunched over his screen, glasses slipping down his nose, fingers flying over the keyboard. He looked up when I came in. "Oh, hey Olivia," he said. "The Miller restaurant proofs, I think the logo's losing detail at small sizes. Can we adjust the line thickness?" "Sure," I said, moving behind him. "Let's see." We went over fonts and line weights for 10 minutes. I heard my own voice giving direction, calm and practical. Inside, I was somewhere else, still staring at a fruit drink and a blue bracelet. When we were done, Ethan hesitated. "Hey, he said. "Can I ask you something kind of weird?" "What?" I asked. "You know those invoices for the new marketing software? The subscription stuff Daniel signed up for?" "Yeah," I said. "The ones I hadn't wanted. What about them?" "I was checking the account numbers," he said, cheeks flushing, "because I'm trying to understand how all the billing works. And some of the charges, I don't know. The amounts seem high. And there are transfers to another account I don't recognize. Carter Innovations LLC? Is that like us?" I went very still. Carter Innovations was a shell company Daniel had mentioned once. He said it was for side projects that would bring more work to Harborline in the future. I had asked questions then. He brushed them off. I let him. "Yeah," I said now. "It's connected to some of Daniel's projects." He said it's fine. "Oh," Ethan said. "Okay. The payment for the new camera setup was routed through that. And some other stuff. Never mind. Sorry. I'm probably being paranoid." He wasn't paranoid. He was observant. I'd known for months something was off with the money, but I kept telling myself we'd fix it after this next big client, which never came. "It's good you're paying attention," I said gently. "Keep doing that. And if something feels wrong, bring it to me. Always." "Got it," he said, eyes wide as I walked back to my office. I passed Mia's desk. Her chair was empty. A plant leaned toward the window, leaves still glossy. A ring light sat on a tripod, turned off. A coffee mug with her lipstick on the rim waited beside the keyboard. I looked at the mug, then at the empty chair, and wondered if she knew she was in a picture with my husband's arm. If she knew that arm came home to me at night, or used to. I checked her Instagram again. She had posted another photo. This time it was the pool at sunset. No arm. Caption: "Sometimes you don't realize how trapped you were until you see the sky from somewhere else." I locked my phone and slid it into my desk drawer like it might explode. At lunch, I sat in my tiny office with a sandwich I couldn't taste. The office window looked out at the alley, where the dumpster leaned sideways and gulls picked at old boxes. A photo of my father and me sat on the desk. I was 8 in the picture, standing in front of a brand new printing press, grinning, ink all over my hands. He stood behind me, one arm around my shoulders, eyes bright with pride. "I'll leave all this to you one day," he'd said back then. I hadn't believed him. He had. And I'd shared it with Daniel. I remembered the day I pushed them together. "We need someone who understands sales," I told my father. "Someone who isn't stuck in old habits. Daniel has a plan to double our revenue in a year. He's good, Dad. You saw how he handled the Hastings contract." My father had narrowed his eyes. "He's all talk, Liv." "He's more than talk," I'd argued. "He believes in us. In me. We'd fought. We rarely fought like that. It ended with my father signing the papers anyway, his hands shaking with anger. That night he had a heart attack in the shop. He died on the floor between presses 2 and 3. I had been at dinner with Daniel, celebrating. I never forgave myself for not being there. For pushing that signature. For choosing Daniel's bright plans over my father's slow, steady way. Now here I was years later, staring at a picture of a mango and a blue bracelet on another woman's feed. Maybe this is what I deserve, I thought. The thought scared me. I pushed my chair back and stood up. I couldn't keep sitting in this office, letting things happen to me. Not anymore. I picked up my phone, opened Mia's profile, and sent her a message. We need to talk. In person. When you're back. Lessons. Mia came back 12 days later. Why then? The photo was old news to the internet, but not to me. In those 12 days, I played along with Daniel's lies. He sent me photos of meeting rooms and boring city streets. None of them had people in them. He called at night from a place that sounded too quiet to be a hotel in LA. We talked about the business. He said he had a plan to bring in serious investors, Who would save Harborline? I asked what kind of investors. He laughed and said, the good kind. I slept badly, ate badly, worked like a machine. The day Mia walked into the shop again, Harborview was drowning in fog. The windows of Harborline Press were white and blurry, like they'd been painted over. She pushed the door open and stepped inside, a gust of cold air around her. She wore a pale yellow coat and carried a suitcase in one hand. Her tan glowed against the gray day. She looked like she belonged in that mango photo more than in our cramped office. Hi, she said to Grace, a little breathless. I'm back. Grace nodded. Hope you had a nice trip, she said neutrally. If she knew anything, she didn't show it. I came out of my office heart hammering. Hey Mia, I said. Can I see you in my office for a minute? Something flickered over her face. Guilt? Fear? I wasn't sure. She followed me in, pulling the suitcase behind her. I closed the door. The sound was soft, but it felt loud that we stood alone in the small room. She smelled faintly of sunscreen, coconut, and airport. Do you want to sit? I asked. She perched on the edge of the chair, hands knotted together in her lap. So, she said quickly, voice shaking just a little. If this is about the vacation, I can explain. You don't have to, I said, surprising myself. Her eyes widened. I don't. I sat down across from her. You posted a photo, I said. There was an arm. Her face turned pink. You saw that? Yes, I said. She swallowed. Olivia, I swear I didn't mean to. You were in Cabo with my husband, I said. While he told me he was in LA. Her eyes filled so fast I actually flinched. I had come in angry, ready to burn her down with words, but the tears hit me in a way I didn't expect. I didn't know she started, voice cracking. He said you two were separated, that you were staying together for the business, but the marriage was basically over. He said you had someone else. The room tilted a little. Someone else? I repeated. She nodded miserably. He said he forgave you, but that it still hurt him. That's why he needed space. And that he didn't want to hurt you again by telling you he had moved on.
Hysterte her.
For a second I couldn't breathe. I had never cheated on Daniel. Not even close. I had never even thought about it. My life was this business, this town, this man who was apparently telling a young woman I had someone else so he could lie his way into her BM. My hands were shaking. Mia must have seen it. She pressed her palms flat on her knees as if to steady herself. He said you weren't really involved in the business anymore, she went on quietly. That he was the one keeping it alive. That you were kind of checked out. I almost laughed. Checked out. I was the one who came in early and left late. I was the one who balanced the accounts at midnight. Daniel was the one who disappeared for meetings. Mia bit her lip. I swear, Olivia, if I had known. I'm not that person. I wouldn't. I believed her. That was the worst part. I believed her. Did you know he's using the business accounts to pay for your trips? I asked, my voice flat. She blinked. What? The resort, I said. The flights. The fancy dinners. All of it. It's coming from Harborline Press. From my father's company. From the money that's supposed to pay our staff and keep the lights on. Her mouth opened then closed. I thought it was his money, she whispered. It's not, I said. Not really. Most of it is debt. Some of it is customers' deposits. And some of it is ours, mine. My inheritance. She stared at me, the color draining from her face. I didn't know, she said. He just said the business was doing great. That he'd made some smart moves. That he deserved to enjoy it. My stomach turned. Have you seen the actual numbers? I asked. She shook her head slowly. Our eyes met. For a long moment neither of us looked away. This is where you slam me, she said finally. Tell me to get out. That I'm fired. That you'll never forgive me. I thought about it. I imagined saying those words. I imagined watching her pick up her suitcase and leave. I imagined calling Daniel and telling him I knew everything, and that she was gone. Then I imagined the invoices stacked on my desk, the calls from the bank, the quiet, worried looks from Grace and Ethan, the way the presses sometimes slowed when there was no new work coming in. If I fired Mia, Daniel would find another way. Another girl. Another trick. The business would still be failing. The money would still be missing. Mia was not the real problem. She was a symptom. I took a breath. I'm not going to fire you, I said. She blinked. You're not. No, I said. Not yet. Why? She whispered. Because, I said slowly, tasting each word. If Daniel is going to put you in the middle of this, I want you to know exactly what you're standing in. She frowned. What do you mean? You think he's the only one keeping this place alive, I said. He told you that, right? She nodded. Then you need to see the truth, I said. The accounts, the clients, the debts, the payroll, all of it. If he's going to drag you into Harborline, you should know what it actually is. Her eyes searched my face. Why would you show me that? She asked. Because this is my father's business, I said quietly. And I'm tired of pretending everything is fine while Daniel drives it into the ground. He listens to you, Mia. He dismisses me. Maybe if you see the truth, you'll stop repeating his lies. She swallowed. You want me to take your side? I let out a shaky breath. I don't know what side I'm on anymore, I said. But I know this. The people who work here don't deserve to lose their jobs because Daniel wanted to play big shot with money we don't have. She sat very still. And Daniel? She asked, voice barely there. Daniel will do what Daniel always does, I said. Talk. Promise. Smile. But numbers don't smile. They just sit there, cold and clear, waiting for someone to look at them. I opened the bottom drawer of my desk and pulled out a thick folder. Come back after closing, I said, pushing the folder toward her. No, Daniel. Just you and me. If you want the truth, I'll show it to you. If you don't, you can walk away and pretend this talk never happened. She stared at the folder like it might bite. Then she nodded. Okay, she whispered. I'll come back. The shop felt different that afternoon. Or maybe I did. I watched Mia move through the office, her shoulders hunched a little. She answered emails, scheduled posts, worked on a rebrand reveal campaign Daniel had planned. It was his latest idea. A big live stream event to announce the new Harborline. With bright colors, new fonts, and a whole lot of hype. We'll blow up, he had said over the phone. We go live, we show the new brand, we promise transparency and community. Investors love that kind of stuff. Investors. Always investors. Always somewhere far away, watching from behind screens. He wanted Mia to host the live stream. Of course he did. She was pretty and good on camera. People trusted her. They liked her voice. I watched her now as she rehearsed lines under her breath. Hi guys, it's Mia. I'm so excited to share the next chapter of Harborline Press with you. My stomach twisted. After we closed and Grace and Ethan left for the day, Mia came back to my office. The fog outside had thickened, wrapping the windows in white. The shop was quiet, the presses resting in the dark. Ready? I asked. She nodded. Though she didn't look ready at all. I spread the papers across the desk. Bank statements. Loan documents. Vendor invoices. Payroll summaries. The breathing, beating heart of the business turned into columns of numbers. I walked her through it all. You see these lines? I said, pointing. Those are loan payments. We took those loans when Daniel convinced my father we needed to expand. New machines. New software. We did some of that. But not all of this debt is from equipment. I flipped to another page. These charges, I said. Blue Horizon Resort. First-class flights. Luxury car rentals. A restaurant in LA that costs more per plate than we spend on an entire office lunch. Her hand flew to her mouth. I had no idea, she whispered. I did, I said. Not all the details. But I knew enough. I just didn't want to face it. I kept hoping he would fix it before I had to. We moved down the pages. These are clients we lost because we delivered late, I said. Because Daniel promised more than we could handle. These are penalty fees. These are bounce checks. These are warning emails from the bank. Tears slid quietly down her face as she read. I thought, she began, voice shaking. I thought he was a genius. He always sounded so sure. He said you were holding the business back. That he was the one pushing it forward. He said he was making bold moves. He made moves, I said. Bold, yes. Smart? No. I tapped one sheet. This is payroll, I said. Grace. Ethan. The part-time workers. We're 3 bad months away from not being able to pay them. And if we miss those payments, people will know. This town talks. Mia stared at the names. I know they're kids, she said faintly. I went to school with Ethan's little sister. Grace brought cookies to my mom when she was sick. And they don't know any of this, I said. They just know we're rebranding and growing. For a while, there was only the sound of paper rustling and the faint hum of the fridge in the break room. Finally, Mia lifted her head. What do you want me to do? She asked. I want you to see, I said. I see, she whispered. I wish I didn't, but I do. She pushed back from the desk, standing up fast. I need air, she said. We stepped out into the alley. The fog had thinned, breaking into strips. The air was cold and tasted like salt. Mia leaned against the brick wall, breathing hard. He lied to me, she said. Over and over. And I believed him. I told myself I was choosing myself for once. That I deserved something good. I didn't know I was hurting you. Or them. The words them hung between us, heavy with the weight of our small staff, our town. You're not innocent, I said softly. You still went on that trip. You still spent that money. You still posted that photo with his arm in the corner. Her shoulders shook. I know. But you're not the only guilty one, I went on. Daniel did this. And I let him. I told myself he was what my father wanted, even when I knew that wasn't true. I pushed Dad to sign those papers. I wasn't there when he died. I'm not clean in this either. She looked at me, eyes wet, lashes clumped together. What are you going to do? She asked. I stared at the alley. At the dumpster. At the gull pulling something out of a torn trash bag. For now, I said. I'm going to show up tomorrow. I'm going to keep the presses running. I'm going to keep paying people as long as I can. But we can't go on like this. Something has to give. What about the live stream? She asked, voice small. The new Harbor Line launch. He's so excited about it. He keeps saying it's our big break. The live stream. The big event Daniel was planning next month. He wanted investors to watch. Customers. The whole town. I don't know yet, I said. But I know this. If we stand in front of a camera and lie, we become him. And I'm done being him. She stared at her hands. Can I ask you something? She whispered. Sure, I said. Why are you helping me? She asked. You should hate me. I hate me. You should want to destroy me. But you're teaching me. Showing me. Why? I took a breath. Because I know what it's like to believe a pretty story, I said. I believed Daniel's stories about the business. I believed him when he told my father he'd take care of us. Cost me everything. I don't want you to become another version of me. Trapped here. Cleaning up his messes in 10 years while he walks away whistling. She let out a shaky laugh that was almost a sob. And I added. Because this place is bigger than him. And if he's going to make you the face of it for that live stream, you deserve to know what's behind the curtain. She nodded slowly. Okay, she said. Okay. So you show me. Teach me. I want to see how this place really works. All of it. Are you sure? I asked. No, she said. But I'm tired of not knowing. Something in my chest loosened. Okay then, I said. Tomorrow we start with the presses. If Daniel wants you to be part of the future of Harbor Line, you should know how the ink gets on the page. The next few weeks were strange. In the mornings, the shop opened like it always had. The bell chimed. Customers came in with orders. The presses roared. Grace shouted over the noise. Ethan played soft indie music from his computer. Daniel came back from a full of sunshine and plans, his smile brighter than ever. How's my powerhouse? He said, kissing my cheek in the office. The skin where his lips touched felt cold. Busy, I said. He talked fast about brand pillars and digital reach and scaling up. He dropped big investor names I didn't recognize, and when I asked for details he said, Trust me, Liv. I'm handling it. Meanwhile, I was doing my own kind of handling. Every afternoon when Daniel went out for meetings, I taught Mia the guts of Harbor Line. We started with the presses. This is press 1, I shouted over the clatter. She's older than both of us. Treat her nice, she treats you nice. Let the tension get off. She chews your paper and spits it out in shreds. Mia laughed nervously. Her hair was pulled back, and she wore an old apron Grace had lent her. already stained with ink. I showed her how to load paper, how to adjust the rollers, how to listen for the sound that meant a jam was coming. I watched her hands learn the weight of the stacks, the feel of the levers. We moved on to the smaller digital machines, the cutting station, the binding. Then the front end. I taught her how to read a job order, how to translate a client's vague idea into something that could actually be printed. I showed her the schedule, the deadlines, the margins that were thinner than they should be. We went over the accounts again. Slowly this time, line by line. I made her add the totals herself. "This is bad," she said one day, frowning at the calculator. "Like really bad." "Yes," I said. "It is. Why haven't you told anyone?" she asked. "Who?" I said. "The staff? The town? The clients? If I tell them, they panic. They pull their jobs. The ship sinks faster." "So we pretend?" she asked. "For now," I said. "While we look for a way through that isn't just Daniel saying, 'I got this,' and vanishing with whatever money is left." She studied me. "You could walk away," she said. "You could sell your half, move to the city, start over." "I could," I said. "But my father is in these walls. And those people out there trust our name. I can't just cut the rope and watch it drop." "You're loyal," she said softly. "I'm guilty," I replied. She didn't argue. As the weeks passed, I saw Mia differently. She was still young, still raw, but not shallow. She asked hard questions. She took notes. She helped Grace clean press rollers without complaint. She stayed late to run extra proofs when a client changed their mind. One evening, after we had finished cleaning, she turned to me. "Do you ever think about leaving?" she asked. "All the time," I said. "When I'm here at midnight doing payroll. When the bank calls. When Daniel calls from somewhere else. Then I remember my father's hands. His voice. The way he said, 'This place is yours, Liv.' And I stay." She leaned against the press. "I stayed in bad things before," she said. "Stayed with a guy who yelled. Who broke stuff. Told myself it wasn't that bad. Told myself I deserved it. This feels familiar." "You don't deserve this," I said. "Maybe I do a little," she said. "I knew he was married. Even with all his lies. I didn't have to believe him. But I wanted to. Because it felt nice to be chosen." We stood in silence for a moment, the late sun slanting through the high windows, dust like tiny stars in the light. "I don't know how to fix any of this," she added. "Him. The money. The mess." "Me either," I said. "But we're not going to fix it by pretending it doesn't exist." The live stream date crept closer. Daniel was electric with energy. He spent hours in the office with Mia, planning segments, writing scripts, practicing his lines in the mirror. When I passed the door, I heard him say things like, community, and transparency, and legacy. Legacy. That word tasted bitter when he said it. "This is going to change everything," he told me one night at home. We sat at the kitchen table, papers spread between us. "Once people see the new brand, once investors see our reach, they'll be lining up." "What numbers are we showing?" I asked. "Projected numbers," he said smoothly. "Future revenue. The potential is huge." "And the current debt?" I asked. He waved a hand. "Nobody cares about current debt if the upside is there. That's how business works, Liv. That's how fantasy works," I said. He frowned, his eyes hardening. "You've been in a weird mood since I got back," he said. "Cold. Suspicious. Did something happen while I was gone?" "Yes," I thought. "Your mistress posted your vacation selfie." "Just stress," I said aloud. "We're tight on cash. I'm trying to keep us afloat while you plan your show." He leaned back in his chair. "Always the martyr," he muttered. "You think I'm not stressed? I'm out there hustling, meeting people, making deals. You have no idea what it's like." "You're right," I said quietly. "I have no idea what it's like to drink cocktails in Cabo, while the bank calls about overdraft." His head snapped toward me. "What did you say?" I had said too much. I saw it in his eyes. I met his gaze anyway. "I saw the charges," I said. "The resort. The flights. The dinners. It wasn't LA. Silence stretched between us, thin and sharp. "Are you spying on me?" he asked finally. His voice had gone very soft. That was always worse than when he shouted. "I'm watching the accounts," I said. Because that's my job. Because this is my father's business. He laughed once, a sound with no humor in it. Your father, he said. You always bring him up when you want to guilt me. He trusted me, you know. He didn't, I said. He trusted me. I'm the one who pushed for you. I'm the one who told him you'd save us. And I did, Daniel snapped. Without me, this place would still be stuck in the 90s. No website. No socials. No reach. You think your dad's old flyers would keep the lights on forever? Maybe not, I said. But at least he paid for his own vacations. His jaw tightened. So what now? He said. You want a divorce? You want to blow everything up because I took one trip? You're not exactly perfect, Olivia. What do you mean? I asked, though my stomach already knew that. He leaned forward. You were never there for me, he said. Always buried in spreadsheets, always judging my ideas. You think that didn't push me away? You think your little Ice Queen act wasn't its own betrayal? Something hot flared in my chest. This isn't about me being busy, I said. This is about you lying. To me. To the staff. To the clients. To everyone. You're using the business like a personal wallet. You're using me like a prop. And you're using my father's name to cover it all. Oh please, he said. Mia's a grown woman. She knows what she's doing. She loves being the star. She should be grateful I'm giving her a platform. I'm giving all of you a platform. Without me, you'd all still be stacking boxes in the back. My hands curled into fists under the table. Is that what you think? I asked. That we're nothing without you? I know it, he said. The anger faded for a moment, replaced by something colder. What happens if the live stream doesn't work? I asked. If investors don't bite? If the town sees through the gloss? He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Then we package the brand and sell it, he said. Find someone bigger who wants a coastal presence. We walk away with something. You can finally stop whining about how tired you are. And the staff? I asked. Grace? Ethan? He shrugged. They'll land somewhere. It's not my job to carry everyone. It is, I said softly. You made it your job the day you signed those papers. His face hardened. You're being dramatic, he said. As usual. Look, the live stream is our shot. You can get on board or get out of the way. But you don't get to sabotage this because you're jealous or insecure or whatever this is. I'm not the one sabotaging anything, I said. He stood up, pushing his chair back. I'm done talking about this, he said. I'm going to bed. He left the papers on the table. I sat there alone, listening to his footsteps fade down the hallway and the quiet. My phone buzzed. It was a message from Mia. He just sent me the final script for the live stream. He wants me to say we're stronger than ever, and profitable and expanding. I read the numbers today, Olivia. I can't say that. I'll choke. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. We'll figure something out, I wrote back. Just, don't agree to anything yet. I'm scared, she replied. So am I typed. But maybe being scared is better than being blind. The live stream. The day of the live stream, Harborview woke up bright and sharp. The fog stayed offshore, leaving the sky a hard, pale blue. I arrived at the shop early. The front windows were covered with new posters. Harborline. A new chapter. Ethan had designed them and they were beautiful, clean lines, soft colors, our logo refreshed but still recognizable. Inside, cables snaked across the floor. A borrowed camera sat on a tripod. A borrowed microphone glowed with a tiny red light. The ring light was set up behind the front counter, ready to wash Mia and Daniel in soft, flattering brightness. The live stream was scheduled for 6 p.m. We had all day to pretend we weren't terrified. Grace came in, eyeing the equipment with distaste. Feels like a circus, she muttered. Just a show, I said. Don't let it distract you. We still have actual work. She snorted, but I saw the worry in her eyes. She'd heard enough whispers from Ethan and from the bank calls I didn't quite hide well enough. Around 9, Daniel burst in, humming. Big day, he said, spinning once in the middle of the office. You ready, Liv? Are we sharing real numbers? I asked. He rolled his eyes. Always with the numbers. We're sharing a story. People invest in stories. Mia slipped in behind him, quiet in his shadow. Her face was pale. Her eyes met mine for a split second. Something passed between us, fear, resolve, something sharper. Daniel clapped his hands. Okay, team, he called. Let's do this. Ethan, you're on graphics. When I say pull up the chart, you hit the slide. Grace, you don't have to do anything besides keep the presses quiet for 30 minutes. Olivia, he turned to me. You just smile, he said. We don't need you on camera. Too many talking heads. This is a branding play, not a board meeting. Something in his tone stung more than it should. I'll be in the back, I said, making sure we still exist after your branding play. He laughed like I told a joke as the day crawled by. I watched the staff move through their tasks with a strange mixture of focus and distraction. We printed orders. We bound catalogs. We took payments. All while the camera in the corner waited. A silent EWT noon Mia slipped into my office. Can we talk? She asked. Of course, I said. She closed the door and sat down, twisting her hands together. I can't say those lines, she blurted. I tried to practice last night. Harbor line is stronger than ever. We're growing every day. The words got stuck in my throat. You don't have to, I said. She stared at me. What do you mean? Of course I do. He expects it. Investors are watching. The whole town will be watching. Then maybe they need to see something real, I said, her brow furrowed. You want me to tell the truth? She whispered. I took a breath. I'm not going to tell you what to say, I said. That's the one thing Daniel always does. He puts words in people's mouths. I won't be him. But I will say this. If we lie today, we tie ourselves to his story. If we tell the truth, at least we're free of that. Free and broke, she said. Maybe, I said. But broke and honest is better than rich on a lie that will crumble anyway. She looked at the window where a strip of ocean was visible between buildings. What happens if I tell the truth? She asked. Will they blame you? Will they blame me? Will the town hate us? The town will talk, I said. They always do. But Harborview hates lies more than failure. They forgive what they can see. They don't forgive being made fools of. Daniel will hate me, she said. He already doesn't respect you, I said gently. Not really. He respects what you do for him. That's not the same. She made a small, broken sound in her throat. And you, she asked. Will you hate me if I blow it up? I thought about my father. About the day he died. About the way I had walked into the dark shop and seen him on the floor, and known it was too late. I thought about all the times I had swallowed the truth to keep things smooth. All the times I had let Daniel's version stand. I could never hate the person who finally says what I was too afraid to say, I said. She looked at me for a long, searching moment. Okay, she whispered. Okay. I think I know what I have to do. I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the air. What is it? I asked. You said you wouldn't tell me what to say, she replied. So I won't make you responsible for it. But thank you for showing me the numbers. For not letting me stay blind. She stood up and left before I could answer. I sat there, heart hammering, staring at the door she had just closed at 5 p.m. The shop emptied of customers. We locked the door but left the lights on. The camera was tested, adjusted, tested again. Ethan's hand shook as he arranged his laptop. You okay? I asked. This feels like a boss fight in a video game, he said weakly. Except I'm the guy who only has a wooden sword. You have more than you think, I said. Grace stood by the back doorway, arms crossed. She refused to be on camera, but she had also refused to go home. I'm not leaving my shop alone with that man and his fancy lights, she muttered. My shop, I thought, but didn't say it. I was too tired to correct pronouns. At 5:58. Daniel took his place in front of the camera. He wore a navy blazer over a white shirt, no tie. Casual, powerful, approachable. The look he had studied in every startup founder video he'd ever watched. Mia stood beside him, wearing a simple black dress. No bright colors. No beach tan showing. She looked serious. Older. Ready, star? Daniel asked, squeezing her shoulder. She flinched so slightly I almost missed it. Ready, she said. The ring light glowed. The camera's little red light blinked on. We're living 3-1. Ethan whispered. Daniel's face shifted into his camera smile. Hey everyone, he said brightly. Welcome to the new Harbor Line Press. I'm Daniel Carter, co-owner, and I'm Mia, she said, cutting in smoothly. Social media manager. Thank you for joining us. I watched from the doorway to the back room, my fingers digging into the frame. We're so excited to share some big news, Daniel continued. Harborline has been part of Harborview for decades, but we're not just a print shop anymore. We're a modern branding studio and, he paused, waiting for Mia to chime in. She didn't. Instead, she stared into the lens. The silence stretched a beat too long. Mia? He prompted, his smile wobbling. She took a breath. I was supposed to read a script right now, she said, voice steady. A script about growth and profit and a bright future. But I can't. Not in good faith. I saw Daniel's smile falter. What she means is, he began. She held up a hand, still looking into the camera. Daniel, she said gently. Please. Let me talk. He went rigid. The smile froze on his face. Harborline Press is in trouble, Mia said. Clear. Calm. Her voice carried through the whole shop. Financial trouble. The kind that can close doors. The kind that can hurt people. Ethan made a tiny choking sound. Grace swore under her breath. Daniel took a step toward Mia, still facing the camera. This is not, he started, voice tight. She kept going. Over the past month I've learned more about this business than I did in the year before, she said. Because someone finally showed me the numbers. The debts. The bounce checks. The vacations paid for with business funds. Her voice didn't shake. Mine would have. I was part of that, she said. I let myself be part of that. I went on those trips. I believed what I was told, that we were thriving, that the money was his to spend, that any problems were someone else's fault. I was wrong. She glanced just once toward the doorway where I stood. The camera didn't follow her gaze, but I felt it like a spotlight. I owe this town an apology, she went on. I owe the staff here an apology. And I owe Olivia an apology. She's the one who has been keeping the lights on while the rest of us chase stories. Daniel's face had gone pale, then red. He looked like he was about to explode. But the camera was still live and he knew it. Cut the stream, he hissed toward Ethan. Ethan froze. His eyes met mine across the room. Don't, I said quietly. He stared at me, then at Daniel, then at Mia. His hand stayed on the mouse. He did not click. Mia took a breath. This isn't a rebrand launch, she said. It's my resignation. Effective immediately. I can't be part of a lie. I can't stand in front of a camera and tell you everything is fine when it isn't. When people's jobs and lives and trust are at stake. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it. I was given this platform by someone who lied to me, Mia said. I'm using it now to tell you the truth. Harborline needs help. It needs honesty. It needs leadership that doesn't treat it like a toy or a personal wallet. I'm not that leader. But I believe the person who has been here all along, doing the work in the background. She turned very slightly in my direction. Daniel followed her gaze. The camera stayed on them. Olivia, Mia said. I'm sorry. For the trips. For the posts. For believing him. For not asking questions sooner. The world inside the shop narrowed to her words and Daniel's furious breathing. Daniel stepped fully in front of the camera now, trying to block her. Folks, what you're hearing right now is a very confused, very emotional employee, he said, the charm dripping from his voice like oil. We are dealing with some internal issues, but nothing like what she's describing. Mia stepped to the side, back into frame. I know you're angry, she said to him softly, though the mic picked it up. But you can't make this untrue. He turned on her then, forgetting the camera for a second. You have no idea what you're talking about, he hissed. You're a kid with a phone and a ring light. I built this place. You didn't, she said, and there was something in her tone that made even Grace suck in a breath. Olivia's father did. And Olivia kept it going. You just put your face on it. He reared back like she'd slapped him. We're done here, he snapped. Cut it. Now. He strode toward Ethan and I stepped forward. Don't touch that computer, Daniel, I said. He whirled on me. This is your doing, he said. You put her up to this. I didn't tell her what to say, I replied. I just showed her the truth. Something you should have done years ago. We were standing in the middle of the shop now, the camera catching all of it. The chat window on Ethan's screen scrolled fast. Messages flying in from viewers we couldn't see. You want to destroy everything we built? Daniel demanded. Over what, a few bad months? A couple of trips? This is overreaction, Olivia. It's hysteria. Hysteria is lying to your wife and your staff in your town and expecting them to cheer for you, I said. My voice shook now, but I didn't care. This is clarity. Do you have any idea how hard I've worked? He shouted. How many deals I've chased? How many nights I've stayed up planning? How many nights did you stay up balancing the books? I shot back. How many mornings did you come in early to fix a jammed press? How many times did you tell a client we messed up and that we'd make it right instead of blaming the staff? I'm not saying you did nothing, Daniel. I'm saying you did the bright, shiny parts and left the heavy lifting for other people. Then you took the rewards and handed the risk to us. He looked stunned. I gave you everything, he said, but his voice had lost some force. I married into this dead-end shop and turned it into something people actually talk about. I made you relevant. You made me small, I said. You made me doubt myself. You made me think I couldn't run my father's business without you. That I was lucky you chose us. But you know what? The words rose up inside me like a wave. I don't need you to be relevant, I said. And this shop doesn't need a savior. It needs someone who will tell the truth even when it hurts. He stared at me, breathing hard. So what now? He said through his teeth. You throw me out? You take everything I've built and pretend I was never here. I don't have to pretend, I said. There are records. There are bank statements. There's a video of you right now trying to silence someone who finally said what needed to be said. He glanced at the camera, as if he'd only just remembered it. He paled. This stream is trash, he muttered. We'll spin it. Say the account got hacked. Say, no, I said that. He looked at me. Really looked at me, maybe for the first time in years. He saw something there that made his shoulders drop slightly. You're serious, he said. I am, I replied. We're not editing this. We're not hiding it. The town deserves to know what's happening with a business they depend on. He shook his head. You'll destroy us, he said quietly. I'm trying to save what's left. I answered that. We stood there in silence for a moment, staring at each other in the bright ring light. Finally, he laughed. It was an ugly sound. You always wanted control, he said. Now you'll have it, along with all the blame when this place burns down. He grabbed his blazer off the back of a chair. I'm done, he said. With this circus. With you. With this town. He turned to the camera, forcing a smile that didn't touch his eyes. Apologies for the technical difficulties, he said. We'll be issuing a statement. Then he walked out of frame, out of the shop and out of Harborline Press. The bell over the front door chimed behind him. The silence that followed was thick. Mia looked from the door to me, uncertainty flooding her face now that the rush of words was over. Should I turn it off? Ethan whispered that. I walked toward the camera, heart pounding in my throat. No, I said softly. Not yet. I stepped into frame, standing where Daniel had stood minutes before. I had no script, no ring light ready smile. Just my face, tired and bare. Hi, I said.
I'm Olivia.
Most of you know me as the quiet one behind the counter. The one who emails you invoices. The one who calls when your order is ready. The little red light stared back. Everything Mia said is true, I went on. Harborline is in trouble. We're in debt. We made bad decisions. I made bad decisions. I pushed my father to bring someone in who wasn't right for us, and I ignored problems for too long because I didn't want to face them. My voice shook, but I didn't stop. We lied by omission, I said. We kept smiling and printing and posting while things fell apart behind the scenes. For that, I'm sorry. To our staff. To our clients. To this town. In the corner of my eye, I saw Grace straighten up. Ethan's hands had stopped trembling. Mia stood with her arms wrapped around herself as if holding in the pieces. I don't know yet what happens next, I said. We might need to downsize. We might need help. We might not survive this in the way we hoped. But I promise you this. From now on, we will be honest. If we say we can do a job, we'll do it. If we can't, we'll tell you. If you trust us with your money, we'll treat it like it matters. My eyes prickled with tears. This place was my father's dream, I finished. For a while, I forgot what that meant. I let myself think we had to be bigger and flashier to deserve to exist. I was wrong. Harborline doesn't need to be famous. It just needs to be true. I swallowed. If you're watching and you have questions, ask them, I said. We'll answer as best we can. If you're angry, I get it. I'm angry too. But please don't take it out on Grace and Ethan and the people who are just trying to do their jobs. Take it out on me. I took a breath. We're going to end the stream now, I said. Thank you for listening. Or yelling. Or just staring in shock. Either way, at least you saw something real. I nodded to Ethan. He clicked. The little red light went dark. For a long moment, no one moved. Then Grace let out a long breath. Well, she said, breaking the silence. That was something. It was a disaster, Ethan whispered. Like a beautiful disaster. Mia turned to me, face crumpling. I'm so sorry, she said. If I made things worse, You told the truth, I said. That doesn't make things worse. It makes them visible. I think I'm going to throw up, she murmured. Grace stepped forward. Bathroom's that way, she said, pointing. Mia shook her head. I'll be okay. Just need a second. She sank into a chair, burying her face in her hands. My phone buzzed in my pocket. Then again. And again. A steady stream of messages. I didn't look yet. Instead, I walked to the front door and flipped the sign from closed to open. Grace stared at me. We're really going to open after that? Yes, I said. If people want to yell at us, they can do it to our faces. She snorted, a reluctant smile tugging at her mouth. That's the Olivia I remember, she said. At Aftermath, the first person to walk in after the live stream was the owner of the Miller restaurant. He stood in the doorway, arms crossed, expression unreadable. I just watched that, he said. Me too, I said. He raised an eyebrow. You realize that's not how rebrand launches usually go. I do, I said. We're going for a new look. Radical honesty. He studied me for a moment, then glanced around the shop at the presses, the samples, the posters. My father came here, he said. When he opened the diner. Your dad printed our first menus. He gave us a discount we didn't deserve. I remember, I said. I spilled ink on the first stack. He made me reprint the whole thing. A ghost of a smile touched the man's mouth. You messed up, he said bluntly. You all did. I know, I replied. But you told the truth, he added. My accountant watched with me. She said. They're idiots, but at least they're honest idiots now. I almost laughed. So, he said. Can you still print my new menus? I blinked. Why yes, I said. We can. Good, he replied. Because I don't feel like explaining our seasonal clams to some big copy shop out of town. As he left, he added over his shoulder. Don't make me look stupid, Olivia. If you're going down, tell me first. I will, I promised. The rest of the day was a blur. People trickled in. Some wanted to cancel orders. Others came to show support. A few just wanted to stare at us like we were a live exhibit. My phone buzzed nonstop. Some messages were kind. Some were furious. My aunt called to ask what on earth I was doing. The bank called and set up a meeting. By closing time. I felt like I'd been turned inside out. Mia hovered near the back, packing her things into a cardboard box. The plant from her desk drooped a little. You don't have to leave right now, I said. Yes, I do, she said quietly. I can't stay after what I said. After what I did with him. It would be weird. For everyone. You quit on a live stream, I said. That's one way to go out. She winced. Too much. Just enough, I said. She looked up at me, eyes wet. I'm going to pay back what I can, she said. From the trips. From the dinners. It might take a while, but I will. I don't know how yet, but it's not just on you, I said. Daniel should pay most of it. If I can get him to. Still, she insisted. I need to try. I nodded. Okay. She took a shaky breath. I know I've said it, but I'm sorry, Olivia, she said. If I could go back and unpost that photo, untake that trip, I would. I used to think like that, I said. About the day my father signed the papers. About being at dinner with Daniel instead of here when he had his heart attack. I wished I could go back so many times I thought I'd go crazy. She watched me. What changed? She asked. I realized I can't fix the past, I said. I can only decide what kind of person I'm going to be with what I know now. She nodded slowly. Today you were brave, I added. Messy, chaotic, but brave. She almost smiled. You were too, she said. You stepped in when you didn't have to. You could have let me fall alone. I was already falling, I said. Might as well do it together. She laughed, a small broken sound. If you ever need video help or social stuff in the future, she said. When you're not drowning and I'm not me, call me. I owe you. And not just for the numbers. I might take you up on that, I said. If we're still here. You will be, she said fiercely. Harborview needs you. Even if they're mad right now. She picked up the box. This isn't the end for you, she added. It feels like it. But it's not. What about you? I asked. She hesitated. I don't know yet, she said. But at least I'm not starting the rest of my life with a lie. She walked to the door then turned back. Oh, she said. I deleted the vacation photos. All of them. You don't have to erase your memories for me, I said. It's not for you, she replied. It's for me. I don't want reminders of who I was when I thought that was love. Then she was gone, the bell chiming once more. I stood in the quiet shop, feeling like the air had changed. Lighter somehow, even with all the weight still hanging over us. Grace came up beside me. You going to be okay, boss? She asked what I thought about the bank meeting. The debts. The unknowns. I don't know, I said. But I know I'm done lying. That's something. She nodded. I'm with you, she said. If we have to cut back, we will. If we have to take smaller jobs, we will. But I'm not ready to watch this place go under while that man takes credit for the wreckage. Thank you, I whispered. She shrugged. Your dad took a chance on me when I didn't know a press from a pasta machine. This is me paying it forward. That night, I sat at my kitchen table with a stack of papers and a notebook. The house felt emptier. Daniel's things were still where he left them, shoes by the door, jacket over the chair. But he hadn't come home. My phone buzzed with one more message from him. You humiliated me. You destroyed our reputation. Don't contact me again unless it's through a lawyer. A week ago, that would have broken me. Now it just made me tired. I typed back. We'll need to discuss your misuse of company funds. I'll have my lawyer contact you. I set the phone face down and opened my notebook to the top of the page. I wrote. What Harbor Line really is underneath. I listed. A building with equipment that still works. 2 full-time employees, Grace, Ethan. Who cared at a town that remembers my father, a mountain of debt to chance. If we're honest, I broke the debts into columns. I circled what could be refinanced, what could be negotiated, what was hopeless. I wrote sell one press. And sublet back room? And part-time staff only? In messy letters to the bottom of the page, my pen hovered. Then I wrote. I am not my worst mistake. My father's face appeared in my mind. Not the angry, red one from our last fight, but the laughing one from the picture on my desk. Ink on his hands. Pride in his eyes. I'm trying, Dad. I whispered. Late, but I'm trying. The ocean roared outside, steady and endless. I opened the window and let the sound in. It filled the room, washing over the papers, the numbers, the echoes of Daniel's voice. For the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I was drowning in it. I felt like I was standing on the shore, watching the waves hit and hit and hit, and still leave something standing. Months later, we didn't eat at IT was close. We cut everything we could. Sold one of the older presses. Switched to cheaper paper where it didn't matter. I cut my own salary to almost nothing for a while. I met with the bank and laid out everything. They were furious. They were also impressed that I hadn't run. Harborview reacted the way Harborview always does. Loudly for weeks, people argued in the diner, in the bar, on the sidewalk. Olivia's reckless. Daniel's a crook.
Mia esse dramatic.
At least they told us. Some clients left. Others stayed. A few new ones came because they'd seen the live stream and decided they wanted to support the crazy honest print shop. We stopped talking about scaling up and started talking about staying open this month. It was humbling. It was also strangely freeing. Daniel filed for divorce. We untangled business ownership in long, painful meetings. His lawyer tried to paint me as unstable. Mine brought receipts, literal ones. In the end, he gave up his share of Harborline in exchange for not facing deeper legal trouble over the funds. He left town. Last I heard, he was in LA for real, chasing new deals. Mia got a job at a nonprofit in the city doing media for a group that helps small businesses stay afloat. Sometimes she texted me articles about grants or low-interest loans. Once she sent a photo of herself in an office kitchen, wearing a t-shirt that said, "Do good, not just well. Still paying things back," she wrote. "Still working on being someone I'm not ashamed of." I sent her a photo of Press 3, cleaned and shining. "Same," I replied. Grace stayed. Ethan stayed. We learned to work with less, and we started saying no to jobs we couldn't realistically do. One afternoon, as I was closing up, a woman came in holding a flyer. "It's crooked," she said, putting it on the counter. "This line, see?" I looked. The cut was off by almost a millimeter. A month ago, I might have tried to explain it away. Today, I just nodded. "You're right," I said. "I'm sorry. We'll redo it. No charge." She blinked. "Just like that?" she asked. "Just like that," I said. "If we mess up, we fix it. That's the deal." She studied me, then smiled. "I watched that live stream, she said. "Thought you were out of your mind. Maybe you were. But I liked it. Felt like, I don't know, like you remembered we're all real people. Not just numbers on a chart." She took the new flyers when they were done. As she left, she said, "Don't let this place die, okay? My kids like seeing their school banners in the window." I thought of my father again. "I'll do my best," I said. One evening, almost a year after the mango photo, I sat alone in the shop after closing. The sun was low, painting the walls gold. The presses were quiet. The air smelled of fresh ink and something else, possibility, maybe. I pulled up my personal Instagram for the first time in months. The old feed waited. Vacation photos from years ago. Smiling shots with Daniel. Pictures of Harborline events. I scrolled back to a photo I hadn't thought about in a long time. It was from an old trip with Daniel, years before the affair. We were in Hawaii, standing by a pool. I was holding a drink with a pineapple slice. My father had been in the hospital that week, recovering from a minor stroke. I had gone anyway. The caption read, "Finally taking a break. Life is short. You have to choose yourself sometimes." Palm tree. I stared at the photo. At my younger self, smiling, not knowing my father would never fully recover. Not knowing I would later blame this week for everything that came after. I hovered over the delete button. Then I moved my thumb away. That girl had made a selfish choice. She had also been tired and scared and in love and naive. Deleting the photo wouldn't change what she did. It would just pretend it never happened. Instead, I added a new caption underneath, updating it. I thought choosing myself meant running away from hard things. Now I know it can also mean staying. Owning what you've done. Trying again, even when it hurts. I posted aita no mango. No bracelet. Just me, my own history, and the choice not to erase it. Outside, the ocean kept moving. The town lights came on one by one. A new banner we'd printed for the school fluttered in the twilight breeze. I turned off the front lights and stepped out, locking the door behind me. Harborline Press stood there, solid and worn and still alive. So was I. For the first time in a long time, that felt like enough.